Hey guys, it's me! So guys, I haven't been making videos in a couple days because I've been grabbing some of them Black Friday deals and Cyber Monday deals. Look at some of these amazing scores that I got. So guys, over the weekend, I said to myself,
"You failed again, you murdering trash!"
I say that every morning to myself in the mirror. I noticed that a lot of people were talking about this guy, Joseph Rogan. If you're not familiar with him, he's a lecturist.
He gives lectures on Spotify.
He gets someone else in the studio with him, okay? And within that space. But a lot of people were talking about Joe Rogan posted this thing on his Instagram, which, by the way, I first saw this on Twitter. If you ever see anything on Twitter, don't believe it, okay? Twitter is like a starting point. You see it and you're like, maybe this is true, and then you go and check on it. And it's the political compass test thing, which is I don't know, guys, what it's supposed to prove, but people seem to like it. But the premise here is, this is the important part. Hard times lead to strong men. Strong men create good times, and then weak men create hard times. But the twist to this little saying, which we'll look into in a minute, is that it's on the political compass thing, which is authoritarian right is strong men, and those authoritarian right-wingers create good times, which is libertarian right is good times, I guess, and then libertarian left is where the weak men are. You're still on the left, and it goes up to hard times. So all those strong men created good times, and then the men then were weak from that, and they became leftist, and because, and then they created hard and then they created hard times because they turned into libertarian leftists, and now they're authoritarian leftists, which is hard times. Okay, we'll go into looking at this because a lot of people just laugh at. There's like, this is basically what people have said. Smart people have said about this is they're like, yeah, that's a Nazi meme, which is, I think, accurate enough. Nobody's really has explained what's wrong with that graph. What's wrong with this little idea? Okay, we'll go into more historical stuff, but before we get into that, I wanted to look into where did this come from. If it's Joe Rogan, let's be honest, it came from YouTube. Where do I get most of my learning? YouTube. But the source of this little meme is from, it's come from the grind set, mindset, hustle core culture of the YouTube internet.
There's this saying that says, tough times produce strong men produce good times produce weak men produce tough times.
Yes.
If that's the truth, which phase are we in today?
So this guy's another one of my favorite YouTubers, Patrick Bet David. He has a YouTube channel, which is my favorite YouTube channel name, Valuetainment. Valuetainment is the place where you would go to see the first Suicide Squad movie, like in a theater today. We're going to the Valuetainment theater. They're still showing, not the current James Bond, but the previous. They're playing it at the Valuetainment theater. It's only $1. You get in, it's for $1, and they have red vines. He seems like a nice enough guy, but I would urge you to watch CoffeeZilla. Look up this guy, CoffeeZilla, where he confronts this guy about how this guy made money, basically.
The majority of people lose money make almost no money with the company. Yeah. 60% of people make $215 according to your numbers. And these are life licensed agents, meaning they got through. So when your fee is $200 a year and you have 60% of your workforce making $200 a year, They're making nothing. And then the pitch, because I've seen the pitch, I was watching the pitch last night, is that it's easy to make this money. It's easy to quit your job.
Which pitch did you hear?
Your
pitch. Did you hear my pitch?
Yeah, your sexiest compensation plan pitch.
He is a scammeroonie, this guy, Patrick Bet David. Surprised that anybody would, he has 3.19 million subscribers. The fact that anybody would follow this guy makes me do this. But that's really from all my searching around. I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, where did this meme come from? Where did this meme get popularized? And that's where it really set fire. The kind of dumbest corner of the internet. Hustle culture, Gary V dum-dums. They're also known as people who are interested in
corporate communism.
But there's one guy that I found over and over again in this kind of obnoxious, annoying space of the internet who like just ran with this phrase, ran with this meme. His name is Stefan Arnio, and I really wanted to just rip this guy a new ass and just make fun of him brutally, but he died. He died, so...
His book, Hard Times Create Strong Men, is filled with powerful tools for personal growth. It's Stefan Arnio.
I'm in the jungle fasting for 18 days on water. So I went home and I wrote this down in 11 days, 151,000 words.
You went nuts.
11 days, bro. It's got killing, violence, money, sex, religion, politics. Because this is how to be a man. It's be a man in a box. And I printed out 2,500 copies. It's sold out like right away. Women actually like this book more than men because they're like, I'm tired of weak guys. The market just needs this.
What is a strong man? Someone who goes to war and kills people?
So in the book, I talk about how a strong man is strong mentally, physically, spiritually. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. This is where the women take over. And then weak men create hard times. It goes back down. Right here in the book, I got a dude with a dick and tits. What's the meaning of being a man? What's the meaning of being a woman? If you buy this book and find it, you don't like it, burn it, send me the video, I'll send you your money back. Peace.
Oh, hell yeah, that's when the women... You trying to get in this fort? You a girl? Hell no. Boys only. Woo! My mic's broken. There's another video where this guy really wanted to make fun of him, but rest in peace, Stefan Arnio. Okay, I'm sorry you died of cancer. Sort of like, this is the corner where this phrase came from. Sort of like, what is it, Jake or Logan? Logan Paul. One of the Pauls. Sort of Logan Paul-ish, pickup artisty, kind of crypto scammy corners of the internet, I would say. That's where this bubbled up from.
What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I have a special guest today, Stefan Arnio. And hopefully, did I say that right?
Stefan Arnio. You got it close, John.
Okay, I got it pretty close. Stefan is someone who I'm really excited about because I got his book, Hard Times Create Strong Men.
But this channel that he appeared on is called Bulldog Mindset. Bulldog Mindset would be smell things, get a drink, have a rest, go to sleep for a couple hours during the day on a dirty, like really like, why does it smell like that version of a dog version of a purple mattress. Lie down in the shade when I see this one a lot. Try to lie down in the shade when your owner needs to be running errands. Make a whining noise while your owner is trying to take a shower, maybe. And then take a dump on the sidewalk that your owner has to clean up with, put the plastic around their hand and then pick it up and then invert that and then throw it away. That's Bulldog mindset. That would be the Bulldog. That would be the realistic Bulldog mindset. It's all hard set, grind set, hand set, grind set crap. By the way, watching a lot of these grind set videos for this channel, what I've learned doing grind set is two things. It's either some kind of crypto scam where you call like 20 people and you're like, buy crypto, and then you sell it, and they're like, wait, or it's it's literally just making YouTube videos telling people to work harder. I'm on my grind where I stare blankly into a webcam telling people, you need to wake up at 3 a.m. Why? I don't know. If you wake up at 3 a.m., you're probably going to be tired the rest of the day. Hey, I go to sleep at 5 p.m. I could see kids playing outside of my window. I still have not paid off my car loan, but I'll get there. A YouTube guy's yelling at me. He's doing this. So I'll get there. Oh hell yeah, you know who they're targeting with these ads too. Check this out.
Gun owners carry not because it's a weapon, but because it's a shield.
Ooh.
They do this even when most options to carry a gun can be inconvenient, uncomfortable, or difficult to conceal.
Oh,
at Urban Carry, we know you just want to easily carry a gun at all times with immediate access.
This guy's name is Warrior Poet Society. He has 1.19 million subscribers, which that's fine. Okay, that's good for you. Good for him, okay? Why don't I have that many? That's the real injustice of this crap. This video has over 1 million views.
There's a quote by an author named Michael Hoff, and it goes something like this: hard times make strong men. Strong men create good times.
Wow.
Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Chinese tchotchkes.
You can really see this idea rolling through the ages. And
churning of ideas.
I'm not going to rip too hard on this guy. This guy got 1.19 million subscribers. You know what? He gets this. Warrior Poet Society. But I am going to make fun of one thing here, okay? I'm going to make fun of one thing, and it's this.
2, courage has died, and we do not mourn her. 3, we are chocolate soldiers. And 4,
what was that last? Chocolate soldiers. Chocolate soldiers. His explanation for chocolate soldiers is pretty funny because it's people who seem tough on the outside, like chocolate, but under any pressure they melt like chocolate. I guess that's not. I'm not sure why not plastic or wax or something. It's chocolate.
Everything is offensive now. Cat in the Hat canceled, MAGA hats, old statues in parks, inconvenient facts of history, the number of genders, disagreement on what is healthy sexuality, the state of policing in America, guns and the Second Amendment, Karl Marx, climate change, BLM, elections, the Kung Flu.
Created on purpose in China, brought to America. Okay.
I want to give you a phrase that I just read. It's from Michael Hoff. He wrote a book long ago called "Those Who Remain." It's a series of books, and in it, he wrote, I think, one of the most profound phrases I've ever heard. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men.
Wow.
And weak men create hard times.
I think from watching the man from which all good things come, Glenn Beck there, watching the way he said that and how pleased he was with himself, you get why people like to say this. Why these guys on YouTube they're like, I was browsing through the literary library. I was with Sherlock Holmes. And I was browsing through the halls of the Kindle ebooks.
And I will tell you that we have a choice. We can either stand up now collectively and be strong men, or when all of us are so weak, we will cry out for a strong man.
Glenn Beck's audience is the most gay-hating evangelicals. They love Glenn Beck. Hate gay marriage. That's disgusting. But that phrase that he just said is the most like Jean Genet.
We will cry out for a strong man.
Like erotic. You'll be screaming out for a hard, strong, oiled. Look, I love it. I think it's great. I think you should go. I think you should continue to go on. But coming from these evangelicals who, over the past, 20 years, this has been their cause to, just cause as much problems for gay people as possible for him to go into. It's just interesting. That's all. One other thing that I was reminded about while going down this little rabbit hole was Nofap. Nofap.
Nofap.
They also seem to be very into Nofap, which can be summed up in one phrase, which is,
that is my own sperm.
And in 2021, people are still talking about that on YouTube. The men's community. The men's community. Well, the certain kind of men. The don't get out too much community, they also like to be called. Really into, a lot of them still making a lot of videos about Nofap. And I was just like, okay, let me just look this up. Let's see if there's any science to that. Long story short, too long, don't read. No, there's none. In fact, there's one study I could find from 2020, March 2020, about this. And the conclusion is not too good. Higher abstinence motivation was related to a higher perceived impact of masturbation, conservatism, and religiosity, and to lower trust in science. We argue that research on abstinence from masturbation can enrich the understanding of whether and how average frequencies of healthy behavior are pathologized.
Nofap.
Okay, so no big deal. This idea is kind of swimming through the goofier sides of YouTube. It's okay. Hey, you got 1.19 million subscribers. What am I going to do? What am I going to say to you? I'll say, I got one thing to say to that.
Wow.
And then second,
that is my own sperm.
Just to remind you. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of look at this. Does this, if we apply this to history, does it work as a good way to explain history? What it seems like they're talking about, because a lot of them bring up World War I when they're talking about this. And by the way, this does purport to be historical, because we're talking about authoritarian right and libertarian left and all this crap. Looking at this thing very charitably, we would ignore the bottom and we would say, okay, hard times, World War I. That's like one of the hardest times. Okay, First Industrial War, all this crap. Okay, hardest of times. And then that leads to the authoritarian right, the rise of Hitler. Okay, I guess that's what they're talking about. Okay, but what about when we look at World War I? It created a bunch of strong men. If you look at kind of any history about this, it created a lot of traumatized men. What it looks like, shell shock came out of World War I. There was a term in France called broken faces. People got their faces blown off. Created a lot of men who could not function in society because they had PTSD. So does that fall into the category of strong? I mean, there could be strength in that, but I don't think, and their authoritarian right it already kind of doesn't really make any sense. And then maybe they would say, no, we're just talking about like Hitler and stuff. That's what we mean by the rise of the authoritarian right or whatever. Okay, well, if we're just talking about like major figures, where would like the Cuban Revolution fall into this? The dictatorship in Cuba, like a colonial right-wing capitalist relationship with the United States, but the leftist revolutionaries. By the way, does Joe Rogan think that like Che Guevara and Fidel Castro, these bearded guys smoking cigars, shooting guns, running around the jungle, are weak men? Like, how does that work? How does that work in? Riding around on motorcycles, grabbing each other's tuchuses, from what I understand. So then that went from here, pre-revolution, but then to here, because they were going against that. But also Cuba had a lot of hard times because of the embargo and the blockade and all this stuff. So it's going from here into hard there. He says civilizations move in predictable cycles, and we are in the lower left-hand square of the chart. So I guess he's talking about the United States is in weak lower left. Okay, so we're like here. So we're weak men living in a libertarian leftist world. I guess he's talking about just like cultural things that he sees online he associates with left libertarianism. Like he's talking about a YouTube video that he saw of like a skinny like multicolored hair trans college student. And he's like, yep, we're in the libertarian left. Even though if you look at like any history of the last, let's just even say the last like 40 years, Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama, Trump. So this would be like way over here, right? Also, maybe I didn't touch you to look at even the most disturbing part of this. What makes this, I guess, why people call this a Nazi thing is strong men, which is authoritarian right, which would be, you know, Mussolini, Hitler, and all this crap, create good times. So, and then you get into hard times and weak men territory. You would want to structure society in a way where you would just stay here. You would just stay in an authoritarian right-wing society, creating all these good times, but then you would need to keep making sure there's that element of authoritarian right, I don't know, government, keeping all the good times. So I am a moron. You know, I'll throw myself in with all these Joe Rogan and all this kind of guys because I'm a moron too. I'm a member of that community. And we are a community, okay? We all stand around and we say,
that is my own sperm,
to each other. But somebody can forward this to, I created a more accurate version of the thing, and somebody could send this over there. Also, if we're looking at the 20th century, where does the Russian Revolution fit into this? These perverts, this group of perverts would be they would be strong men, but they so you would have to create the graph like you would have to create like these would connect somehow. These two, because this would be left, but they had a lot of hard times because of this going on them. Also, where do indigenous Americans fit into this cycle of history? It's just that. They're not authoritarian. They're not. Well, maybe they're. I would say they're they're probably left. They would probably be considered left, a lot of indigenous Americans. Not weak men. They're strong men, but they had a lot of hard times because of this going at them also, causing a lot of problems for them, and then they get killed. All of them get killed. So sorry, I had to add that last layer. So now this, I believe, is my final. You could send this over to, I think this will clear things up. This thing has been around a while, this little meme of how hard-oiled, glistening men. A couple years ago, this guy, Brett Devereaux, who you can look up, he's a professor who specializes in Roman history. This is my impression of him. I love books about Romans. I'm going to make out with a book. He actually wrote about this exact topic, and some of it's good. I don't know if I agree with him on it. I don't know if I agree with this guy on everything. I didn't get to read enough, but he does make some interesting points. Most of the time, it was urban armies that were doing the pillaging. Take Rome's frontiers as an example. Rome is, after all, the byword for decadence and decline in Western discourse. Western cultural memory fixes on the Goths, Vandals, and Huns who broke the Roman frontier, but it is quick to forget the rather longer list of non-state peoples broken by the Romans. Non-state, tough guys. The tough guys in having those hard times. The Samnites, Cimbri, Teutons, Ambrones, the Levant, that's the correct way to say that, by the way, Ambrones, Helvetians, other guys, all these other guys with all these names and unpronounceable names, and all of the other, quote, hard, unquote, peoples crushed under the Romans do not become household names. Most successful large states in history can boast similar butcher's bills. In other words, these people were kind of the Dune, the Dune sand people, the Javier Bardems of their time, living out in the sand, living out in the hardened guys. Hard, strong-oiled. They were the tough guys, but they did not create good times. They just got destroyed by the Romans. And he gets a little mean. This guy, this history professor, where does he? I think he teaches at North Carolina. He gets a little bit mean. As a consequence, this cynical model of history, which never explained anything terribly well, is adopted now as hard-nosed wisdom about the world by policymakers and the general public alike. However, on closer inspection, it turns out to be a child's vision of history, simplistic and unhelpful. Come on, man. That's not right. You trying to get Joe like that?
Wow.
I'd like to hear him say that to Joe Rogan in the octagon. You piece of crap, you. And yeah, when I was like, this could be fun to look at this thing and compare it to like actual 20th century history. And it's not... At first, I was just like, okay, it's ahistorical. It's just like ahistorical. It's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is an astrology guy. He does the men's version of astrology. He would be a crystal girl, I feel like Joseph Rogan would be. He would be looking at a crystal and going like this.
Wow. Wow.
This is just his version of it. But if you did want to learn, you're like, you know what? I want to crack one of these books about, well, I don't know, World War I or some insufferable crap like this, the Russian Revolution or whatever. I think if you had internalized this thing that Joe Rogan posted, you would have to like go through an extra step of like unlearning this thing. It's not surprising, actually, if I think about it at all, that all these guys saying this stuff are like internet marketing guys. I've told this story before, but I worked for a company that sold testosterone pills over the internet. And all the kind of marketing copy was meant to prey on guys' insecurities. You don't have testosterone. Girls don't like you. They don't think you're manly, was basically the subtext to all of the marketing in this crap. Guys very insecure about this kind of stuff. So this might be a more useful graph to some of the guys who get tricked by this stuff. It would be something like this quadrant would be insecurity, just insecurity in general. Then it would be falling for internet crap. Then maybe it would be like silly, goofy, performative, tough. Like not like a real tough guy, like somebody who like, there's lots of tough people out there, you know, like, oh, I'm a mechanic. I get crap hits me in the head all day. My hands are all messed up. That I would say that's a tough people exist all over the place. Different, whatever. What we think of, like what Joe Rogan would think of as like a common, you know, stereotypical tough guy, right? This is not that. Performative tough guys, like you watched this and now you're going to just like start acting like you're a tough guy. You're going to be like, hey, shut up. Then we get into this quadrant, which is people cross street to avoid you. And then we get there. Not sure what to do about Star of News Radio, Joe Rogan. He seems like a nice guy. I would smoke weed with Joe Rogan. I would party with Joe Rogan. He's around. Send this to him. Joe Rogan, can I borrow a couple thousand bones? Is what I would say to him. You know, I want to get a new TV. Can you help me out? I lived here before you did. So I think you owe it to me. I would say things like that to him. Anyways, guys, I think we've created some good times here and some hard times.
That is my own sperm.
Have a good day, everybody, and bye-bye. Please join the live stream. If it's Monday when you're watching this, join the live stream at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Year of our Lord. Bye. Hey guys, you're only getting a fraction of the weekly shows. If you want a new motherfucking episode every day, subscribe on Patreon for as little as 2 bones. You get the patron-only Tuesday and Thursday shows, the Bookablega show where we look at important books, and the goddamn weekly behind-the-scenes show. And for only 25 bones, you could become a producer and get your name up here. Look at these people. These people make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, nothing. We don't have a show. We got nothing, and it's garbage. And we have to just leave. We have to just basically walk away, and we don't even really know where we're walking. That's the truly troubling part about all this. But please, become a patron today. For as little as 2 bones, or 5 bones is another level, or 10, or you go the full 25 and you get up here. Big special thanks to these people. Love you guys so much.